Welcome back to the Crypto's Key Conversation. I got a sick little guy and a day's full of work that I got to take care of, so I'm going to try to jump straight into this because I want to cover all this stuff. It's from Stuart Alderati from yesterday. It says, there's so much wrong with the SEC's brief in the Coinbase case, I don't know where to begin. Let's start with the SEC claiming without citation or support that digital assets have no innate or inherent value while collectible baseball cards do. Stephen Aoff responds to this and says, speaking of assets with no inherent value, should SEC Gov bring in action against itself for the Hinman speech as a sale of an unregistered security due to the expectation of profit? And then he added a lot of people. Let me see if I put this right here. Yeah. So JD says, let's apply the test. Hinman was definitely an asset, and there definitely was a one investment as he was paid millions from the EEA law firm Simpson Thacher. So remember EEA, Ethereum Enterprise Alliance, or it might be Enterprise Ethereum Alliance. Can't remember the order. 2 says, into a common enterprise comprised of small working group that helped write the speech. And he has remained in that common enterprise since giving the speech and is now a partner at the same common enterprise, A16Z. And remember, there was a Spaces, I think it was, where JD had brought it up and they pretty much, shut it down. They pretty much censored him, cut him off when he brought it up. 3 says, there was definitely a reasonable expectation of profits derived from Hinman's efforts of delivering that market-moving speech and then going on CNBC and declaring that, quote, we at the SEC believe ETH is not a security and that there are no third-party promoters of ETH, despite meeting with Joseph Lubin, Vitaly Buterin, and A16Z folks numerous times leading up to the speech, as the Hinman emails prove, which we know that's all factual. We knew it was factual because it wasn't in dispute over the past 2.5 years, but now you have Stephen Aoff being one of the insiders, being the bombshell, right? The whistleblower. It's been proven. So he goes, so yes, the asset known as Hinman 100% satisfies the Howey test. And I didn't even have to discuss the efforts of suing Ripple and going after XRP with folks within the common enterprise shorting XRP before the lawsuit was announced, and thus expecting profits from those efforts as well. So before I go on, I wanted to touch on this. So remember, he said with folks within the common enterprise shorting XRP before the lawsuit was announced. So right here, I'm not saying, I don't know all the ins and outs of things, but I just wanted to touch on this. So this is, what's his name again? Kyle Samani, right? And that's Matt Helmington next to him. But Kyle Samani had wore this shirt. Remember, it says Ripple, #XRP, the security. Now, Matt Helmington gave him this shirt that says XRP is not a security from the proper party. Apparently he was really cool about it, and it was a good sport. So I mean, that's cool. But yeah, we remember this, and we know about their campaigns going out talking negative and what did they say? DAI says talking their book or whatever, and creating all this FUD behind it. Obviously they had an agenda, shorting XRP, buying and longing Ethereum, knowing they had that inside information. It's just shameful, man. Riz XRP had put this up. I'm gonna quickly play as it says, they could be talking settlement right now. So that's what I'm not gonna play because I know a lot of people played or whatever. I'll play it real quick.
They could be talking settlement right now. I'm not saying they are,
sure,
right? But they could, and they don't want to try the case. So I don't think a trial is going to happen.
Okay, so that's your prediction.
So yeah, if you haven't watched Tony Edwards from Thinking Crypto's podcast interview with JD, I highly recommend you go in and listen to it. I think it's like 20-30 minutes long. It was good. But yeah, that's the gist of it. He just thinks it just doesn't make sense. So why would they? Why wouldn't they settle? So that's and obviously, when it comes to JD, I mean, he has a lot of merit and power and reasoning, legally speaking, as to why he makes his, I guess you could say, opinions. He formulates his opinions on litigation. So we'll see. Stephen Aoff says, I'm one of the only people who has the list of ETH given out to contributors, exposing this publicly. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I skip something? Yes. Okay. So right here, I'm one of the only people who has the list of ETH given out to contributors. Exposing that list publicly could endanger many honest, well-intentioned people who worked on Ethereum. All documents are stored in many places with multiple lawyers, others, so they are safe, and I won't even be the bottleneck. So Astro Prosper says, interesting, seeing as I contacted another, Stefan Stefan, who is also purported to have the hashtag ETHgate list just hours ago. Why not publish a redacted list with amounts shown and names redacted or the reverse? JD says people are confusing the list of people who were offered / given ETH from the pre-mine Ether with the ICO purchasers. I've never believed there was a list of disguised whales. If there were a list of their names, they wouldn't be disguised whales because their identity would be pretty much saying their identities would be exposed. Astro Prosper says, I'm under the impression that the disguised whales had to provide email addresses in order to receive their ETH. Now, they could have just created multiple fake emails, but at least that could be investigated. A proper investigation can link the emails to the IP addresses and so on, right? And we know that there's community members. What is it? Something Labs. Maybe it'll pop up down here somewhere. But yeah, there's people that's probably already diving into it as we speak. JD says, yes, in previous posts I said the only way to know more is an investigation into who owns the email addresses and or the founders share information. She says, understood. Thanks, John. So what we really want is a list of email addresses. I have no doubt that the sleuths in the XRP community can figure out who some of these email addresses belong to. And right here, Truth Labs. So Truth Labs is one of those community members that has already been connecting things. Remember, connecting Prometheum, Wang Chang, Consensus. I mean, just everything. I mean, I'm curious to see how this thing unravels. But continuing on, Astro Prosper. I don't want to touch on that one. I want to touch on this one from Preston. Preston's responding to Stephen Neroff, where he says, I'm one of the only people who has a list of ETH given out to contributors. So Preston says, I was on this list, offered something like 13,000 ETH from Premine. I turned it down because I didn't want to owe anything to Joe Lubin. Turns out what I really needed to worry about were former ETH Foundation guys who held onto the list for a decade because of reasons. So before I go on, we're going to touch on this right now. Stephen Arrow says, wait, what? Let me see if I got this right. You tell the world you were on a list that I would not release to protect people on it. Then you question my motives for holding onto this list for the exact month of an email you saved and post. Let's each confess the sinister reasons why we saved the list and email. I'll go first. I back up my data. Now your turn. God will forgive you. Now let's get real. I'm not an ETH Foundation guy, though my good people Ethereum, like you, I don't trust someone like Joseph Lubin, so I had added reasons to keep stuff tucked away. Unfortunately for me, the distrust was proven correct, including Vitalik Buterin, aka Crypto Judas. So then he adds hashtag chart not organic. So this was Preston Byron's post, or it was like his blog post back in April 23rd, 2018. It says whether ETH is a security. So coming down here, there's a bunch of, stuff, but I just wanted to show this. So they show this Ethereum pre-sale chart here, right? And then they compare it to whatever the heck this is. It says now compare it to some random Kickstarter. So here's a random Kickstarter. And then they have like the Tezos, contributors, BTC, and then the whole ETH, just showing the just different examples, which is merely interesting to me. I really wanted to come down here. And I think that's what Stephen Aroff was saying. Like it's just not natural. The ETH chart isn't natural. But Preston says, summing up, unless we can show that this Ether has been sold into the wider market, this chart lends itself to the proposition that ETH is not as decentralized as we might hope. If true, this fact likely has legal consequences, or rather undermines the decentralization defense being put to the regulators by industry lobbyists. I mean, it's literally speaking to what we've already been experiencing, right? We know when it comes to the ETH, ICO, that it was an unregistered security, and obviously based on how everything else has happened, meaning Joe Lubin and the team, if you will, getting government officials in their back pockets, placing certain individuals in certain instances, and disguising whales, and acquiring other businesses, and in a sense laying down their pipeline so they can create and have a monopoly in this space. And we know when it comes to that whole decentralization, remember that was like the whole creating this reality that Joe Lubin kept talking about, coming up with these new terms of what an unregistered security is. But if you're fully built out and decentralized, remember that was like using words to create a reality type thing. And we know that just saying that isn't true. So coming back to Preston here, he goes, what really set off alarm bells was an email from Ethan Wilding, which used language, quote, pursuant to our arrangement, before offering me the wedge. I replied, I note your email refers to our arrangement. The proposed allotment is news to me. So let me make sure I got this right. Did I put it right here? Yeah, okay. It says a reply, quote, I note your email refers to our arrangement. The proposed allotment is news to me, a pleasant surprise if anything, as I've never had discussions about, nor have I requested an Ether allocation from the Ethereum team at any point in time. I asked the foundation to redirect the coins they would have given me to Vlad Zephyr's team. No idea whether they ever did. Fortunately, I kept receipts. So then he has a receipt here. Wednesday, January 21st, 2015 at 8:05. Subject, Ethereum Ether allotment to Ethan Wilding. He says some more stuff. Yeah. I mean, obviously there's going to be more stuff that comes out, more people trying to protect themselves, trying to cover themselves. But, the facts are not in dispute, and that's just kind of what it is. But Wheezy X put this up. It says, I was offered Ether from Premine, but I said I don't like Joe Lubin. I don't like the look of him. I don't want his money, so I didn't accept. Preston knew Lubin and Ethereum was unethical. Listen to this. This is him right here.
Well, what I do like to see, and you see it occasionally with projects, are ones that are very limited in their claims, right? They don't tend to be the most hyped projects. They don't tend to be the biggest projects, but people who are try to approach things from a rational standpoint and try not to oversell. But that's not the name of the game, right? It's a huge gold rush. It's a wild west. Everyone's trying to be the biggest, the baddest, and the best. And so a lot of people make inflated claims about what their project is or what it can do and what it doesn't do. When I was a younger man, that I full of righteous vigor, I would look at something like that and say, well, it's all a scam. I don't want anything to do with it. Probably would, if I'd not done that and I'd just been like, cool, I'll just buy all the Ether I can, I'd be a millionaire, right? But instead, I didn't do that. And I decided to play it straight with my ethics. And I was offered Ether from the Premine, and I said, I don't like Joe Lubin. I don't like the look of him, and I don't want his money. So I didn't accept it. 13,000 Ether, it was about $60 million. Now it's about 30.
Yeah. So people were on it. He was probably grabbing his elbow at that time too. Man, JD had responded to Preston talking about being offered 13,000 ETH. JD says, in light of SBF's trial and the reminder of bad people existing in crypto, some whom I've pointed out, I wanted to highlight the two tweets below. It goes to show you that there are people, including prominent lawyers like Preston, within the industry who maintain a level of professionalism, integrity, and transparency. And yes, I am aware that Preston may disagree with me on XRP or possibly on the significance of a particular ruling, but that doesn't mean I cannot recognize what's good and right in the world, which is huge. And then he comes out here and says, I'm starting to warm up to XRP since Ripple is starting to kick the SEC's butt. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. And then Wheezy X put up a good question, a serious question, like, what is the reason people don't like XRP? I'm honestly curious. Let me see if there was any updates there. Yeah, I don't know. It is an honest and genuine question. Like, why the hate? Like, can't you see the potential? Like Bearable Bull says, like, isn't it obvious? It's crazy. We're currently sitting at a $1.12 trillion market cap. Bitcoin sitting at 27,655. Ethereum sitting at 1634. XRP back up to 52 cents. Bitcoin Fear Greed Index sitting at that neutral, man. Yeah, we'll see. I'm still hearing technical analysts that I follow saying we're in phase one of the bull market. So we'll see. We could see a little downside, as they say, but hey, we're in phase one. So they from their words and their analysis, they're saying that this is an opportunity to buy. So I mean, I don't know about y'all, but you got to do what you got to do. Do what's best for you and your family. Make sure you come to the Crypto is Key Conversation YouTube channel. Subscribe. Follow us on X at Crypto is Key 1. I really appreciate your support out there. With all that being said, stay strong out there and be safe. Oh, I can't forget. No, I can't forget. Hold up. Let me come back here. I almost forget this. The homie DAI is getting torched. Where's my thing at? We'll just put up Mickles right here. So yeah, hey, make sure you shout out Elon Musk. No, let me go to mine because mine has everything on it. Let me see. Where did I put mine at? Boom. So yeah, make sure you know at X at Elon Musk at support and at DAI's account hashtag X account XRP Army retweet. I mean everything you can because yeah, the homie DAI account got suspended and he had put out a video this morning talking about it. So make sure you go in and show love. I mean I've been literally reposting everybody's stuff that I see. So yeah, that ain't right. But yeah, take care of yourself out there. Stay strong out there. Be safe.